Om Shanti. Good evening. Welcome. And so today we have a different topic, and it's emotional addiction. And it is not about physical addiction that we think so many times we refer to an addiction to a substance, maybe smoking or alcohol, but it's a different type of addiction that we're going to be talking about. And so, what is addiction? Basically, addiction is something that we are addicted to something physically, and that we know that that substance may not be good for us, but still we continue to use it again and again, right? And that's what happens. And despite the physical harm that it's giving us, we know about it, and but even despite knowing that, we do that again and again. We use that, right? So, in terms of emotional addiction, what is that? It's a pattern of emotion that I go through again and again, a feeling that I go through again and again, despite knowing that it's not good for me. So, that is what we're going to talk about in emotional addiction, an emotion that we get addicted to. Right? And you can see it's a persistent use of a particular behavior. We use that behavior many, many times. And definitely very unhealthy for our emotional health. We know it's not healthy. And there's a cyclical pattern, meaning it comes like just like in any other physical addiction, the person does it again and again. So here also, I go through that emotional behavior again and again, despite knowing that every time I have that behavior, I don't feel good. Now, what are the signs and symptoms, right? Any addiction, if a person doesn't know that they are addicted, then it's very hard to find the treatment, very hard. Sometimes there is a sort of denial. Sometimes people say that I am not addicted. Sometimes they might say that I am fine. I don't need any treatment. I'm not addicted. I just do it for relaxation, right? So, in this emotional addiction, no. In this emotional addiction, what are some things that I need to check that to realize that maybe I have a behavior pattern within me? So what will happen is I constantly think and talk about a person, right? So that person might not be in front of me at that time, but even if I am physically away from that person, I'm thinking about that person again and again, that that person is like this is how they behaved. And I definitely, if I think, I also talk about that person, and not in a positive sense. And next. And also, another is the thoughts around it are very negative. They're not positive. So, whenever I think about that person, maybe if I talk about that person for an hour, after that, I feel very drained. I feel like, I don't like talking about that person, but yet it's like a behavior that I'm not able to stop because of however they have acted. And next. And so there is a feeling of victim, that is that I cannot, a feeling that I'm very helpless around that person because that person's behavior is like that. So feeling that I'm a victim, and also the next is that feelings of disrespect arise for that person. And when feelings of disrespect arise, because I feel the person is behaving like this, and every time my mood, I don't feel good, so I do not have respect for that person. And then the other is mind is addicted to a constant pattern. So this is the pattern we are talking about in emotional addiction, that constantly the same thing is happening over and over again. Then if we go to the next slide, it says now anytime a person has to quit an addiction, whether it's smoking, alcohol, anything, right? What is given to them? Education is given to them about the harm about that substance, right? If it's smoking, smoking will cause harm. The previous slide, the smoking, that smoking will cause harm from will cause harm to the lungs, will cause harm to all the parts of the body, causing cancer. So all that is told. So for us, how this emotional pattern is harmful? Well, it's harmful in many ways. First is that if I'm thinking negative, what do I lose? What is the most precious thing to me? Is my happiness, right? Everything from morning till night I do is to be happy. I go to work, I earn money to be happy. I have a family because I want to be happy. Everything I do is to be happy. But whenever I think about that person that's constantly in my life, I lose my most precious thing, my happiness, right? And what happens? If we go to the next slide, my relationship with that person, I think a slide is there before this. No? Okay. All right. So, yes, this one. Harm. Yeah, so whenever that happens, my relationship is spoiled with that person, with whosoever, whether it's my boss, whether it's in a situation where I cannot do anything. So my relationship gets affected. It's really bad. Sometimes I can, maybe find another job and, maybe get rid of that person from my life, but sometimes it's not possible, right? So that is, I'm not happy, whether in the presence or absence of that person. That's one harm. Even if the person is not there, I'm not happy. Other is I create hurt. I create hurt within myself because of the other person's behavior. Then, oh, I can, okay. Yes, thank you. And I have made my happiness dependent on that person's behavior. If that person's mood is good, I'm happy. If that person's mood is not good, I feel that, okay, what's happening in my life, right? And next, and also, so these are I feel very unfortunate. I feel like whatever I do, this person is in my life, and I feel that I have no control, and I don't feel lucky. I feel I'm very unlucky to have this person. What do I do? How do I get out of here? And so these are all the harm that is caused. See how I am feeling so powerless just by that thinking pattern. And the next is, very quickly, the relationship is affected. And the next is, I wait for a day, right? I feel helpless. So what do? I pray and I wait for a day. Maybe someday will come, this person will get better, or I'll have a day when I won't have to deal with this, right? I wait that some magic or some miracle will happen one day and my life will get better. It will, because life is very dynamic. Every day scenes change. So it might happen, but it might not happen for 20 years, for 10 years. So do I have to suffer for that long, or is there a resolution? Is there a solution to it? And so, and the next is, because of that negative thinking, I can actually have physical signs and symptoms of stress or depression or any of those things, because constantly my mind is involved in those negative emotions. So much of harm that is caused by one pattern. And then the next is, so I can hide the emotions for a long time. I can say that, oh, I cannot talk about it. I can even have it inside within me, not talk about it. I'll be like, okay, it's fine. It's life. Just let me carry on. But they'll be deep in my heart. They will be there. It will open up one day. It will be there. So I carry that hurt and heaviness in my heart. I can carry it for years. I can carry it for months. So these are all the harms that are caused by such thinking patterns. So then if this is the harm, I need to do something about it. What can I do? And or because of all this, I have poor respect for myself, either because of other person's behavior or because of whatever has happened. I lose the respect for myself. So if we go to the previous slide, there is a, yeah, after this, there is a diagram after this. Yeah. Yes. So if we see in this slide how the cycle is happening, you see on top there is a scene with trigger, right? Whatever that scene is, that person is there, it's saying something. Then if we go there, if you follow the arrow, it says no shield, I feel vulnerable. Whatever the person is behaving like, whatever the person is saying, I feel I'm
Sister,
taking all the
excuse
arrows
me.
inside. I'm taking everything in, right? And then what happens? The scene is over. After 5 minutes, the scene is over, but the thoughts are repeating in my mind. The scene is repeating in my mind, and I feel worse about it. Then how do I feel better? Why is it an addiction? Addiction always gives something to the person, right? Maybe smoking, it gives some sort of relaxation. So how is this scene? How is this what is this giving me? What pleasure am I getting? Now I feel bad. I want to go and talk to others about it. This has happened. This is how they behaved. And what will others say? I will go and talk to my friends. I will go and
Single
talk to
mom.
my close people that are
Guys, look,
close in my life,
single moms got
they
it
will say,
down bad.
yes, you're right.
But
Oh
I'm
my
here to
God,
say,
you are in such a
listen
bad
up.
state.
You
You are
can't
so
accept the
right,
fact
and
that
the
you're not
other
going to
person
be
is so
in her
wrong.
life. You know
Right
what you
away,
got to
what
do?
will do? What will
You
it
got to
do?
get rid of the
I
damn
will feel
kids.
better
So
about
how you do
myself.
that?
There's a
Well,
little
like that,
subtle ego
but you want
that
to
will
you want to
be,
get you a happy meal.
ignited at
You
that
want to
time,
lose
that
some
you
stuff
are
so
right
tired.
and the other person
And as
is
soon as that little
wrong.
shit is done
So I
eating it,
will go
go
do
ahead and
that
calm
more
down
often because at
and let's
least
see
it's
what you
making me
can
feel
correct.
better.
Another
I
thing
will
you can
talk
do
bad
is
about that person to other
encourage your
people,
girl.
look what
Beat
they
the shit
did,
out
look
of her
what they're doing, and then
and
little
record
bit
it
for a
and
little
use
bit
this as
period of
evidence
time, I will
that
feel
they
better, just like we feel better
Sister,
with
another
any
thing you
sort
we
can
of
do is
cannot
addiction.
hear.
And
take
after
your family
that,
on vacation.
again, I feel the
On
same way.
Facebook, kidnapping is
Then what
common.
happens, if
Take the kids
possible,
outside and
if I
record
have an
and
escape
this
button
little
in my
family
life,
together.
I will press that escape button because of course I'm tired of it. So I will physically get away from that person if possible. If it's a job, I could change a job. If a relationship, if possible, I could physically, or maybe it's in the same house, I could go and isolate myself in a room or choose not to talk to that person, right? But if that's not possible, then what happens? If it's not possible to maintain oneself physically, I go into this feeling of that I'm a victim of this situation, I'm a victim of this person's behavior. I have no outlet, I have no other way, right? And this scene repeats and repeats, right? This is what is basically happening. So, what do we do? If this is the addiction that we are into, addiction of our emotions, we have to get out of it, right? So much of harm. What do we do? So we go to the next slide. And this is all the harm. So first is for anything that is bad for addiction, what is there? Early recognition. So we do not let it stay on for a long period of time. Early recognition and prevention. Before it happens, we say, right? Prevention is the best strategy. So we prevent from that scene, just before that, we prepare ourselves. But how do we prepare ourselves? So, anytime that cyclical thoughts are coming, do not remain with those thoughts for a long time. As soon as you recognize the same pattern is coming, do something. Do something right away. Just recognize that this is a danger sign to me. This is something very harmful to me. I have to do something. I have to either go listen to something positive, read something positive, do something good, something I want to make myself busy in doing so that I'm able to help myself. Now, I want to free myself from such emotions. And now, and only Dash can help. Who can help? Only I, yes. I can help myself. So I don't have to wait for a miracle to happen one day. If I want to get free myself from those emotions, if I want to be happy, I have to help myself. Then for that help, I have to understand. Understanding is very important here. I have to understand and always remember that who is creating my thoughts in my mind? I am creating that. So I can create any thoughts I want at any given time. Right now, if we ask that I want to see myself at a beach, I'm in front of the beach, in front of the waves, I can visualize myself and feel that coolness, right? So I can think anything at any time. I am the creator. And so if my thoughts and my feelings follow the thoughts, so who is responsible for my feelings? I am responsible. If I can create thoughts, I can be responsible for my feelings, right? Now, and another thing that goes with it is I always have a choice how to think. Always. I always, if I forget that I don't have a choice, I go into that automatic mode. Just like a person has a choice to take that cigarette and light it, in a similar way, I have a choice to whether think that way or not think that way, right? And there's a lot of, so when I try to do that, it might be difficult. Why it would be difficult? Because of previous scenes that have happened, there might be a lot of hurt that I have really not settled inside me, within me. There are a lot of things that I've hidden in the cupboard and put it, and maybe I don't talk about it, or when, I'm really upset, I do talk about it. What I do is express those feelings in a journal. And by expressing that, I'm not writing the whole story as a, in a journal. What I'm doing is I am writing my feelings that that scene happened, how I felt in that scene. And then see it as a third person that how can I help myself in that situation? What is there? Did I overreact? Was the scene really that much? Or did I think too much about it? Just see it as a third person, not too much involved with what my story is. Just see it as a third person. And then find a solution, write that solution next to that, experience that I write. I can do that, whatever I get out of it, whatever the gist I get out of it, I can practice that during meditation also. Then the next is create very beautiful and positive thoughts about myself. So after I've written it down, I have written the scene down completely. Very beautiful thoughts, positive thoughts about myself. Why I want to do that? Because those scenes, I accepted very negative thoughts about myself. So I have to reverse that because that did not make me happy. So I want to create very beautiful and positive thoughts about myself so that I can elevate myself. I can take the control of my happiness in my hands. So I do that. And then have a dash. Okay, so this is a quiz. Then have a dash to not go in the similar thought pattern. What would I do so that I don't go back into the same thought pattern that I know it will cause me harm? Have a firm resolve, firm determination. Like for any addiction, we need a firm determination to not go back to it, not do it, right? In the same way, this habit has become an addiction for me. So to not go into that cyclical pattern, I have to be very firm. No matter what, I am not going back into the same cycle. I am not thinking like that, no matter what. So immediately I will see, okay, I promise myself I'm not going to think like that. So I will think something different. I will do something because I know I don't have to do that. So I do need very firm determination. And I cannot just be like very lightly, oh, it's coming, the same thing. No, I am not going there. So I choose to respect myself instead of expecting others or everyone to respect me. I choose to respect myself, right? So that can bring the confidence back within me. So now looking at the same scene, so scene with trigger comes. Now what do? I immediately recognize it is just a trigger for me. So there is a commentary going outside. That person is giving me another commentary. What do? I choose to have another commentary inside. I pre-plan this. I'm not, it's not like I just go there without any shield. I just go there unprepared. No, I know that scene will happen. That scene will occur. So I prepare my own plan. I prepare my thoughts. What am I going to think inside my mind when that is happening? And I choose to have the plan is very positive that I am a happy being. I am a happy being. I do not need any respect from outside. So I create such thoughts for myself. I am the creator of my thoughts. I decide what to think. So like that, when the commentary from outside is coming, I have my internal commentary playing. Then repeat those thoughts about myself because the scene will be over. Now the scene will have a less impact, right? At that time when I have my own commentary, scene will have a less impact, but what will happen? The previous scenes might have a baggage still, right? But that's why I keep repeating that. Maybe during meditation and I sit and realize that I I choose to stay in that. And slowly with this practice, what will happen? That I will remain as in that form. I will accept myself as that, whatever commentary I'm playing, that I am a peaceful being. So I will accept myself because I'm doing it again and again. And this might take a few days, maybe it might take more days. It's up to everyone how much and how firmly we believe in it. But once this practice is formed, so this is very important. I do not go to the next step before this practice is formed. Once this practice is formed, and how do I know this practice is formed? When the scene happens, I automatically think like that. I don't have to train myself, right? That means my practice is firm. I stay in that form that I am a peaceful being. I stay in that form that I am a happy being, right? I choose to create my own thoughts. So when I do this again and again, now I know any scene that happens, I can easily go in like that. Then once this practice is firm, then I can understand the other person. Why I can understand? Because now I'm not needy. I'm not needy of the respect from them because and I can see them in pain, right? Who gives pain? The person who is in pain, right? Children are not in pain. They're so happy and innocent. What do they give? They give happiness. So whatever we have is what we give, right? So if the other person is giving pain, imagine what they are in. They are in pain. That's why they are giving pain. So at that point, when I am not needy, I can see the other person that they need help. Like I would immediately have mercy for that being, because I would feel like, okay, I am happy, but they don't know they can be happy too, right? And then once I have this mercy, I would feel the situation will change, the scene will change. You can try it out. Try it out definitely. Because the scene will change. Initially the scene was I become upset, that person is upset, I become even more upset, I go in hurt, I have disrespect. Now none of that is happening. The dynamics of the scenes are changing only by how I'm thinking. I have now I have mercy for that person. I have respect for that person that they are suffering. And with that, the scene will change and I will feel like I am in control. They are not controlling me. I am in control. And once I am in control of myself, the scene changes. Scene changes for my benefit. It changes for, it works according to, see how the scene before was not in my benefit. Scene was like, life is not for me. It's against me. Now this way, the life comes like we are in alignment. We are together, going in one way. So the scene changes. So, and in the similar pattern, we can see as I feel better and another person with a similar behavior comes, I can have the same cycle. And the next one. So now with any other addiction, right? How they say after 2 days of quitting, how you feel, after 5 days of quitting, how you feel. So what happens when we do this? Our life takes a turn in a positive direction. Only if we try. We have to try it out. The life turns. How it turns in a positive direction is that those scenes have a different outcome in my life. They don't, because every time before, the same scene, same outcome. Same scene, even worse outcome, right? It just keeps becoming stronger. But this time, now I see that the scenes can have a different outcome. And I'm not needy. I learn to overcome such scenes. I'm like, I feel like, oh, those scenes are not, I worked on myself. I changed realized, not even working, I just realized who I was or what my power was. I just realized that, and the scene has changed. This is a very big thing, because we get so much happiness from our relationships. Relationships are a source of happiness. That's why we have so many relationships. But if my relationship improves, my life becomes happier, right? I feel that those relationships bring prosperity. I have respect for my relationships. I know myself better. So I know when I practice this, I get to know what my triggers are. When I behave like this, when do I go into the cycle? I get to know myself better. So I'm busy looking at myself. I'm not busy at what's happening around me. And I'm in control of my life. So you can see it becomes a very successful behavior trigger. I always choose to remain. I choose to select my thoughts. And then once I'm firm in that practice, I'm able to have mercy. So now we'll have meditation, and after that, we'll take questions. You can have a different picture too. We can just have a different picture. Om Shanti. I sit back and relax. For the next few minutes, I keep an aim that I will practice concentration and follow the words. I, the being, I sit in the center of the forehead. A point of light. I am a happy being. Happiness is my right. Happiness is my comfortable emotion. I choose to remain in my comfortable emotion. It is my truth. I am a happy being. My happiness is dependent on my thoughts. I realize that. And I choose to be the leader of my mind and reasoning. I see through these eyes, but I'm not these eyes. I listen through these ears, but I, the being, am different from these ears. I speak through this mouth, but I, the being of happiness, am different from this mouth. I, the being, am a point of light. And I invite the source of happiness, my eternal parent, and I take myself into this deep journey. And I visualize the rays of happiness and wisdom are falling upon me. The point of light. Making me realize that my happiness is my property and no one and nothing can snatch it from me. It is precious to me. And so I choose my thoughts, I see myself as an eternal being of happiness, true happiness that's not dependent on anyone's behavior, not dependent on any scene. I learn to tap into this resource, myself. I choose my original quality. Happiness makes me light. It gives me the power to accept people. It brings me in control of my life. This is my virtue, given to me by my eternal parent. I choose to remain detached in the scenes that may affect me by remembering this. that I am a happy being. Originally, I was happy, and so I choose and I realize my truth. I spread happiness around me. I radiate happiness to people around me. The rays of happiness are entering within me, nourishing me, and reaching every corner and removing any darkness of sorrow within me. Making me light, taking away all the heaviness. I have found my truth. And I choose to be in that. I choose to experiment. That I am a being of happiness. And it's my right, given to me by my eternal parent. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Any questions? Anything on Zoom?
I think we do have questions, Sister, on Zoom. So let me open it up to them.
Okay. I cannot read the question.
One question that we do have is from one of the sisters on Zoom saying, how can we think different and positive if someone close to you is abusive constantly and does not want to change or accept their behavior?
Yeah. So exactly, that's the whole talk. So when the other person is not going to change, right? So that is why I choose. So I can choose to think different. Like I said, when the same commentary is going outside, there can be a commentary within me that I can play. I can think whatever, right? Even when someone's talking, even if they're not talking good, I'm still thinking at that time. It's not that I'm not thinking and I'm just listening. I am listening and I am passively thinking. I'm thinking, okay, I'm this. Oh, this person is saying this. Oh, this happened. So all these thoughts are going on. So I am thinking in a very automatic manner. But if I realize that I can choose, of course, in the beginning, if that scene remains it feels very difficult because I'm influenced by the person a lot. Maybe that person is very close to me. So what I can do is I can first try it in other situations. There are little milder situations and plan it in advance that this situation will come, and I'm planning, maybe do meditation. So when that scene comes, and it doesn't have to be I start practicing in a big scene, but that will have an effect on that scene as well. It comes gradually with the practice, that but I have to try it out. It's, and plus, like I said, there is a previous baggage also of that hurt. So that is why it becomes difficult with the same person. So I have to kind of let the feelings out as a in a journal, or express that, because they're all, I feel like I'm tolerating, I'm taking it in. So I have to let that go out somewhere. I need a vent. So then it becomes easier.
Thank you,
Definitely
sister.
meditation helps. Yes.
One additional question that's very similar
Mm.
is, how can you move on from someone who drains you emotionally that
Yes.
you love?
Yes. So is it move on meaning like from in the mind, right? That's what it means, right? How do you not think about it? So if you want to think about someone, I have to first realize, is it positive for me or is it negative for me? I can think about a baby, and that baby also I love, but I can be happy when I think about that. But if I think about something that it causes sorrow, so I have to change, I have to do something there, that what can I do that I should not go into that cycle of sorrow. I have to change it into positive, some sort of positivity I have to bring. Otherwise, I am constantly making that habit very strong, and I do not want that. I'm becoming addicted to that pattern of thinking. So that's what I have to break. That's where I have to break the cycle and have to bring the positivity. And the positivity has to be for the self, it has to be for me, because everything we're doing for ourselves. We might say we're doing it for children, we're doing, but at the end of the day, we're doing it for ourselves. So we have to make that effort and try with a simple thing, that I am a being of happiness. I choose to be happy because I am the creator. So I can create any thoughts if I can think anything. So I have to help myself, right? I have to be strong also at the same time in my decision to be there. It comes with practice. Definitely meditation has to be there. It comes with practice. But even if I start with little things, I will see a big change. That's it. Thank you. Yes, one more question. Yes.
Regarding the thinking pattern, so even when we are physically busy, like doing some household chores and all that, the mind never stops. So now after I started the meditation, I recognize that, okay, it's chatting, so what do I do? So I need some replacement or some way to shut it off, or if it's even possible.
Yes.
So
yes.
what is the technique?
Yes, so very practical, and I can tell that you did practice it. That's why you are coming up with this. What do I do? If not that, then what? So for that, I need positive information. I need to hear positive things online, or I can read something positive. So I need to replace it with something positive. So if I listen to positive things, then I will think about those things. There are stories that are positive, there are classes that are there. So if I listen to positive, and positive not in the sense that I can understand, like it's making sense, it's making my understanding better. Maybe it's those are things that are bringing up my self confidence. So I listen to good things. That is why the information has to be very good in order for me to sit on it. Yes, if I like you this is a very good thing that you are trying and you are realizing. Yes, very good. Yes, you can take it.
So the person is in front of you all the time
Mm,
and trying nagging you all the time.
mm,
And when you know that that person is wrong,
mm,
constantly behaving very oddly, then how can you protect in that sense? And you were saying that think some positive. So thinking positive about that person or thinking
No,
positive about
not
something
about that
else?
person at that time. No. Do not start with thinking. You can if you had that much power, but initially it has to be thinking positive about myself. So why I think that person is nagging? Because it has already affected me. Right? So what I do is first I think positive about myself. I bring power within myself. Without me having power, I will think that, oh, I'm doing so much for this person and still this person is not changing. So do not go to that step first. That is the second step. The first step is to first think good about myself, to have power within myself, to first choose. The person can have any sort of behavior, whatever they want. I choose to pick my own thoughts. I choose to remain calm. I choose to remain happy because I am that. I am that. So, in that, when you do that, you won't even have to say anything to that person. The scene will start to change because when I choose to be in that thought, I have respect. Those things stop to bother me. They don't bother me. And when they don't bother, the person realizes that I am just making that, I'm creating a scene and nothing is really happening. They realize that they need to be calm. They automatically will realize because I am not giving a reaction. I'm not reacting. In fact, I'm staying calm. I'm staying very unaffected in the sense I am staying in a different mode. Like one of the Zoom person said that it might be difficult in a very big situation, but I can start with smaller or I can prepare in advance. So that's where I need, that's where, because they can say anything, right? But how is it affecting me? Why is it affecting me? Because I'm letting it in. I'm saying, okay, this is happening. Why are they doing it? I'm resisting to it. So what do I need to do that to think about myself and be like, okay, they're saying whatever. Let them, they are not in their perfect state. At least I can be in a better state. So once I start with that, that's when I can offer any sort of help.
So I'll elaborate a little bit more on the situation.
Hmm?
Like says, I will elaborate more about the situation. Say for instance, somebody's asking to do something, and say I don't want to do it because that's not my dream.
Right, right.
And somebody has the other dream, and they're trying to impose on me, and that's not realistic, or that's not I want to do it.
Right, right.
So that person will start nagging and trying probably more in reactive mode, and that's how that person will be more furious in that case. And then that
And then
person
you
will
will,
ask that, okay, what would you do in this situation? Why don't you do that? I don't want to do it, say for instance. Then he will get more furious about that.
right.
So how
right.
can I stop it in that sense? So I can just stop talking that time and then just be positive. It's
yeah.
gonna add up more in night.
Right, right. Exactly. So at that time, so firstly, if I think I have to see, okay, what do I want in this sort of situation, right? Like you said, maybe I don't want to do it. Then I have to see what for this relationship, what is good overall, right? Maybe I want to come in a middle way, or do I want to explain why I don't want to do it? But I cannot this has to be in a very in a manner that they are okay with it, not in a scene when it's very everything is very reactive. I want to express my emotions when everyone's calm. When it is a better scene, that's when I express that, listen, that this is what I'm going through. I don't think that's a good idea for me. It's not that I am refusing or I don't want to do or I don't want to make you happy or I don't want that. But maybe this is not for me and it's being imposed. If we can talk. Communication might be important in that sense, but it has to be with a lot of respect for that being, lot of respect and understanding, and then at the same time understand where they are coming from also. That would help too. If I just say that's it, I can also try to understand where they are coming from, what's their understanding, listen to them, and then see what I can offer and how I can explain it. If it's a no, then it has to be, in a manner where it has to be in a very tactful way. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the situation. The only thing I will add up is that in this situation, I also react. That's where everything start messing up. But you're right that I can be calm and give the respectful answer. Probably that might solve.
Yes.
But having said that, that person is so firm and affirmative that one has to follow whatever that person is saying. So how can I stop that, because it's constant?
But you have to, like I said, you have to be polite and you have to be firm. But you have to choose the right, maybe for that situation, you have to put your foot down. If not, then you can maybe try to see if there is a middle way. Something that there's no middle way.
Because that person is asking me to do something that
you don't want to
that person has no capacity to do that. So that's not fair. So in that situation, if I say no, then that person will get more furious. That's why I say
no,
that.
you cannot. Yeah, you have to. So you would have to be in a way where you have to express it by when the conversation is both ways, when you're having a conversation and not an argument. That would have to be, and that would have to be when you are calm first and then you're ready to listen first. You would have to express your views, you would have to listen to the other person first. And by listening is not like you just listen, okay, I've listened. You really understand where they are coming from. So maybe for some time, listen to them and understand where they are coming from. So once we understand, then from that understanding, when we say, okay, I understand this is how you feel this, and by not just by saying it, really understanding, and then when we say, okay, maybe some other solution can be there for that particular thing that they want, but for me, this is where my capacity is.
So this situation, as you explained, it's on the way of intellectual. But if you think more subtle way, as a God within everyone, then that person might have some baggage of the karma, and I do have the same thing. So then I've applied the knowledge, that because he has certain karma, that's why that person is like that and I'm like that. So we both are different. So that's how I'm trying to respect that person. But having said that, still it doesn't work sometimes.
No, I mean, if there is respect, respect remains constant, no? If the respect is moving based on an action or based on a behavior, then it's not, that's not respect. Then it's based on just a behavior. Spiritual respect is just based on, there's always, you see the other one also with the same eyes. So that respect, you see that, okay, maybe they're not behaving, they're wavering from that, their truth, but that's who they are. So that doesn't waver. As long as I stick to that respect, it should not waver in any sort of scene. Yes, they are different from how their truth is, but at least I can see them as that. If the moment I start seeing them with that respect, the behavior does change. It is only that I start looking at that action, that, oh, they're doing this. The moment I see them as their action, and if the action is not so great, my respect changes.
So what is the best way to do it? Like think positive, or
For the
see the person
as a being. No, not as God within. See the person as the person. Like, say, suppose I'm saying I'm a being of peace. That person is also a being of peace. Their love is their quality also, but they are not experiencing that. They are dependent on something external that they want, and only then they will be experiencing that peace. So I see that that is already, this person is already a being of peace, is already a being of love. So this person is not the actions that they're performing. They are under the influence of an action. So I say, okay, this person, I respect the being. The being is true. The being is, innocent. The being is pure. They are not acting that way because they don't know. The moment I see that, there's an automatic respect. That's, even if I don't say yes or no, even if I don't go around that conversation, but I can still create that respect. That just by creating that respect within me, the scene does change. It does.
I agree.
Om Shanti.
Thank you.
Thank you
Shanti.
very, very much, everyone,
you.
for your participation and for coming and listening to Sister Neha give her talk
you.
on this great topic. I think, we're at the end of our session. I think we have time for maybe one last
Oh,
question.
there's one more question.
If anyone wants
No,
to.
anyone else?
Otherwise,
So can we get the link, whatever we
Link
talked
for the
before?
YouTube. Yeah, you can
today's
get, there is a
session?
YouTube link for it too. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, how do I get it, that one?
How do we get it? There's a,
Email address.
you can give your email address and you can get it.
That would be
Yeah.
nice. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Om Shanti.
Can you
Om